Welcome back to Pop Culture Roll Call, the show where our hosts are watching The Magicians by only viewing the scenes that their character is present for. This is Season 2, Episode 9, Lesser Evils. Welcome back to an episode of Pop Culture Roll Call. I'm your host, Mike. I'll be watching everything from the point of view of Penny. To left me as always.
It's Tasha, and I watch everything from the point of view of Margo.
In front of me as always.
It's Colin. I watch everything from the point of view of High King Eliot, as always.
And right here, right now.
Hey, it's Brian. I watch as Quentin.
We got a new setup.
We do. If you're not watching the video podcast,
You're a loser.
I mean,
We have live switching. We have 2 cameras.
look at that.
Look at this.
There's
Fresh.
one camera that's obviously better, not because of quality, but because of content.
Eat your fucking heart out, podcast studios. This is low budget Smizmar shit right here.
It's
Yeah.
actually really incredible.
It's clean.
It is. It is clean. It's fun. I like it. I think it's going to work. I think it's fun. And we're going to be using this setup for Extra Life this weekend.
Look at that segue.
Thank
It's
you.
almost like we've been doing this for a decade, ladies and gentlemen.
Extra Life this weekend, where we play video games for 32 hours?
36.
36 hours straight on our YouTube channel this year.
No.
No? Twitch.
Twitch.tv/Pop Culture Roll Call.
Wasn't sure. Twitch.tv/.
It's going to be on our live journal. Our Zangas.
We're going to live stream it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And kick.com so we can gamble.
No, we're not. We are not doing that. But I will say, if you would like to join the team to sign up to also play along with us, please do. Brian will have the link in the Discord, or
In the description of this.
in the description of this video. So we'll see you this weekend. I'm really excited. If you have any ideas, things you want us to play, send it in.
Yeah.
Suggestion box or email us.
Yeah,
we'll-
we've got 36 hours.
Are there any games related to the TV shows that we've done that we haven't played? Because we played a Buffy game.
We did. We played it twice.
Yeah.
Both years. I think we got through most of it.
Probably not an Orphan Black
Battlefield, The
game.
Magicians.
No.
Probably not a maybe a
Gravity?
Firefly. Gravity
No.
Falls might probably not.
I would assume there's like a bad mobile game for Gravity Falls.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, but if there's
That's
anything
probably
we
shut
could
down.
play on
Yeah.
our television, something we could do, that would be really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited. It's always fun to do every year, and we'll see you then.
Yeah. Should be a blast. Thanks everybody for donating, and please just I don't know. I know that. Thank
I
you
guess
for
we should mention that. It is for charity.
It is for charity. Yeah,
This
it's
isn't
not
just for
just
kicks.
lining our pockets. So whether you are a patron and you give money, which I very much appreciate it, or if you're not a patron, if you just want to chuck in a few dollars for a good cause, that would be fantastic. Yeah, it's all children's hospitals. And if you can't get behind healthy children, then honestly turn off the podcast because I don't want your listenership. If you want sick kids,
Hold on. I was about to say, if you can't come together to support sick children, you might be an American.
Oh, not us though.
Not us. We're the good ones.
Yeah. For this weekend
49%,
only,
baby.
we are a sovereign nation here at Smizmar Studios. For the first time only.
Sovereign nation.
Yeah, we are.
Chicago.
I don't need a driving
I can see it.
license, a driver's license, because I'm not traveling. I'm traveling for travel, not for commercial purposes.
It's so funny. Okay, we can't talk about sovereign citizens today.
We're talking
We have
Season 2, Episode 9 of The Magicians.
Yes.
Who else starts before credits?
I do.
Me too.
I do.
Everybody.
Whoa.
Well, I don't see Penny.
Nope.
Margo, do you see either of these two jabronis
it's
at
you
all?
and me.
It's just us two.
Yeah.
Do you two hang out with each other a ton? Is
Barely
it a split?
any.
Okay.
I see each other twice.
Are you on vacation?
No. Oh, y'all. I'm just gonna. Here's a little clue.
Yeah.
All of my talks about the American government system, kind of on topic.
Interesting.
You go to the highest forms of the government. Ooh.
Ooh. Okay.
Sweet. Well, let's get into it then. Let's jump into Filoria.
Fillory?
Fillory. I don't know why Filoria. I was like
Filorians.
Filorians. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not sure why my brain decided to make that little leap.
Yeah, Margo is talking. We're in the middle of another council. Every time, this is just the show now. Is
Yeah.
I start and we're in a council meeting, and I'm like, wow, this is really too real. Every day is just go to work, clock in, sit into another
Is
annoying
this
meeting.
Stasia saying that, or is this Margo saying that?
No, this is me saying it, but Margo's living the same life, just has slightly different problems.
Yeah.
The problem that we're currently wrestling with is that we are the least like trusted monarchs in the history of Fillory, which I felt was got to be at least an exaggeration.
Oh, I thought you were going to say warranted.
No, well, maybe, but the point is that like the monster guy was ruling before us. I feel like he should qualify. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, my read also was that he wasn't a monarch. There was no monarchs because he kept fucking murdering them, and he just like ran ripshod over the entire like countryside.
Wasn't he technically not the king?
I don't think he was the king. Because I think they said like you're the first king since the beast. Like, I don't know. This is conjecture, but my read was, or my feeling was more that the beast came in and basically nobody wanted to take ownership of the kingdom because he would just murder them. So they just kind of like left the seat vacant because nobody wanted the job.
Okay.
And then once we dealt with him, then we're the first rulers. Not that it means that we're doing a better job. And I think we're trying our best, but things are happening under our watch, and Margo might be a little bit quick on some very aggressive judgments, and then Julia came in and committed genocide.
Yeah.
So we didn't get off to a great start. We immediately broke the source of magic and power. Then we declared war.
Beast did that. Let's
on our watch.
And Ember did. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
but what I'm saying is on our watch, because you don't judge rulers based on what they do. You judge rulers based on what happens on their watch, and that happened on ours.
But they weren't sworn in yet.
Anyway, so basically, we're dealing with this fallout.
Yeah,
That's what this
exactly.
meeting is about. And the troops have abandoned us because of the tree genocide.
Right.
Thanks, Julia.
Appreciate
and we're looking for alternatives. And the crazy sloth advisor?
Yeah.
I assume?
I forget her name. She's
Sloth?
the high...
Yes.
Like an actual sloth.
Correct.
We've talked about this.
You know
Multiple
there are talking
times.
animals in Fillory, right?
Yeah.
I guess there's some things my brain just hid me from for my own protection.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, because I don't think I've actually seen a talking animal yet in this show.
The sloth doesn't actually talk. The sloth is on a tree, and then there's a person who's like the sloth's assistant that like leans in, pretends to hear the sloth talk, and then talks on behalf of the sloth.
Oh, they're lying.
Well, the sloth makes sounds. The sloth
Yes,
just
that's true.
doesn't speak clear
I believe
English.
it's-
It goes like...
Yes,
I
yes.
believe it's
Yeah.
pronounced
Do you see this-
acting, which is lying for money.
Do you see the sloth's like mouth moving when it's talking?
No,
I
they
hear
don't
this-
have that kind of budget.
Yeah,
Are you
we got
kidding?
sloth budget.
But
Put
listen-
peanut butter under the sloth
Yeah,
gums.
Like Mr. Ed or whatever the hell that show was, that budget can't have been more than like $8, which is probably like $100,000 an
But the
episode
sloth
nowadays.
union
but-
is so much tougher to deal with.
Anyway, the sloth recommends a thing that
the sloth recommend.
7 out of 10 sloths
I'm probably
recommend.
overstating that. The sloth, every time they give us advice, they're not actually recommending it, but we're like, great, we're going to do that, even though you specifically said,
Sure.
please don't do this, but this is an option. And we're like, that's the option we're going to go with. And that's what we're doing here. The sloth says that we could duel, a one-on-one duel with Prince S's dad.
Yeah.
And that would be like in lieu of war.
Yeah, because we're lamenting again. We lost our army, we lost our money, we lost our magic. So how do we fight a war? And they're like, you can avoid a war if you just one-on-one combat the guy. And Eliot is immediately like leans forward. And he's like, one-on-one combat. And so you're saying, how popular do you think I would be if I agreed to and then won in one-on-one combat? And the like character actor guy who I've seen in a ton of things and I don't know his name, but one of the advisors, sort of the main person who speaks, is like kind of leans forward. He's like, my lord, there's never actually been a ruler who's volunteered for one-on-one combat, let alone succeed. You would be the greatest ruler in the history of Fillory. And Eliot is just like sits back and sort of strokes his chin like, I do like the sound of that. And Margo looks like you see the writing on the wall immediately.
Yeah, I already admit that I know that you've already you see the statues being built in your honor.
Yeah.
This is where we're going. There's
Yeah.
nothing to be done about it. I mean, this is basically the end of the scene. We get credits after this. Like, Eliot basically made his own decision here.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we all remember that Eliot is making his own decisions without consulting me in this scene before I do it later. So I would like to just point it out.
Like Margo hasn't been doing that previously.
You're the one who declared war?
Yeah, without my consent.
Yes, I would say, yes, I'm just saying
I
we're
think
both making mistakes here.
So I think it's like, sure. So it's like one person makes one mistake, and to even it out, the other person makes another mistake. And the person's like, well, if you're going to make a mistake, I got to make a mistake. And then we
just escalate, and all the mistakes get worse every time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, I don't know. Declaring war might be the worst mistake you could make.
It's been a pretty bad one for us so far.
Oh no!
I'm curious. I was curious what the longing look out the window was. So let's figure that one out here in a little bit.
I started my episode in jail.
Yeah.
So
Dungeon
talking
jail.
about mistakes, what'd you get up to?
Apparently, it's protocol for me to be in the jail cell that we have on campus.
Yep.
For what?
Protocol?
And aren't you also handcuffed inside of the jail cell?
I don't think I am. It's hard to tell.
Why?
Maybe I am.
Why?
I'm handcuffed later when I'm not in the jail, but
We left with us discovering weird Alice inside of Quentin trying to kill us.
Oh,
Yeah.
so if you're possessed, you go they
Straight to jail.
incarcerate you. That actually does make sense.
Sure. Right. Okay.
We turned around on that real quick.
Yeah, there are some times where a person, for some reason outside of their control, is a danger to themselves and the people around them and needs assistance.
Yeah.
for example, if you're a werewolf, like the guy in the cell next to me is.
Oh, they're gonna say Oz because we
no.
put him in a cell every once in a while
I do like
too.
that this guy calls out that he has a case of sexually transmitted lycanthropy, and a very mild case at that, because he doesn't fully wolf out. And he's like, either way, it's totally curable. And then the dean's like, treatable. There is no actual cure. It's treatable.
So, yeah. Anyways, apparently you can become STD werewolf.
Interesting.
But yeah, Penny's here. The cop dean's here, and Katie's here, I think, as well. And so Penny starts going through my stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he just like rifling through my possessions. I'm like, can you not steal from me? And he's like, nope. And then he takes the button and leaves, right?
Yeah, I take the button, and then me and Katie just travel out.
Okay.
And then I get credits.
And yeah, I mean, I'm talking to the dean basically being like, you know, like, this is stupid, right? And he's saying that, you know, he's saying Alice is gone, and I need to basically come to terms with that. We need to box Alice, or I'm going to die, right? These are the stakes that have already been established. Is like, I have a couple days left to live because this is killing me.
Burning the candle at both ends. It can't last forever.
And I'm like, well, nobody knows because like this is a special situation, and I think we all know, like, you know, if I don't do anything, I'm dead, right?
Yeah.
The other thing to note right before I get credits is I think the brownouts are happening here as well.
All of the magic that comes to Earth flows through Fillory.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. So that tracks, but it's definitely happening. So
Cool.
Okay.
and then credits.
Really drew that.
Hey, I gotta
slur.
make it up for some other slackers.
I love that. I just love that we're just going to refuse to agree on it.
We are a group of sluts. We are not a singular slut.
I mean, you don't know who I'm talking about. So, in all fairness.
Wow. My next scene is in the castle.
In my
Yeah, our
castle?
castle?
In your castle.
Sorry, our castle?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You think I need to be welcomed in? I'm a traveler.
Yeah, you're not a king.
Okay.
All right. Well,
You're just a person.
what are you doing in my castle?
So we're
Our
walking
castle.
through the castle, and Katie's marriage like, Eliot's the king of all this. I'm like, yeah. If you're looking for rock solid proof that life's not fair and there is no justice, here it is.
Wait, don't we still have an open slot?
No.
Nope.
No. Everybody got one except for Penny.
I didn't want
And then
one.
Alice
And then Alice
died.
died.
Oh.
So
Technically.
Oh, God. I don't even want to think about who's going to fill that slot.
Well, we know it ain't Julia.
Apparently not Penny.
No.
And probably not Penny.
Also, this is my first episode dealing with Julia. I have never seen this person before.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I had the same thing last week. I had the same thing
and
last week.
This is not, I don't mean this in a mean way, but she very much looks like a Kirkland version of Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Okay. I get what
Like,
you're
it's
saying.
pretty close, but it's not. Anyway, we're walking through.
Jennifer like Hewitt.
Ah, my God.
Jesus.
I hate you. And Katie's just kind of taken aback. She's like, wow, this dungeon, like even the dungeon's nicer than any place she's lived as a kid. Or except her uncle's BMW would have been nicer if he was actually her uncle. Don't know what that means.
I think you know what that
I think
means.
you probably
know.
It's pretty clear.
And I'm like, don't be fooled. This place actually sucks. And we're approaching a door that's being guarded. And Katie does a little tutting, puts the guy to sleep. We head inside, and it's Julia.
Oh, because we put her in prison. That's
Yep.
right. I put her in the dungeon where
Yep.
she belongs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why'd you put her in the dungeon?
Genocide.
Because she committed genocide.
Oh, on the tree.
Oh, we find out about, and we were like, hey, we found Reynard's son. And like, wait, why are you in here? And she's like, I killed trees. And I'm like, seriously? And she's like, they could talk. And he's like, they have talking trees here? So we're finding out about tree genocide now.
Yeah.
And
And you don't just say like, oh, they were sentient. We should honestly, should we find a different person to hang out with? Should we have a different friend?
we got a mission. And Katie's like, do they have talking trees here? And she's like, not anymore. And we leave her.
Leave her
I will
in
say
the
this.
prison.
Listen,
Something must
Julia
have happened.
has been through bad things.
Yes.
I
Yeah, she-
understand that, but like
But simultaneously,
genocide?
oh my God, this person.
I feel like there had I mentioned this last episode. I feel like there had to have been something going on. I called them druids all last, and our listeners pointed out correctly that they were called dryads. I wrote that in my notes, dryad.
Yeah,
I
right.
know the difference, and said druid the entire time anyway. So sorry about that.
Sorry,
mea
just
culpa.
D&D pill. We can't
The
help
word
it.
wild
Really,
shaped.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was a man, and dryads are supposed to be all women.
Yeah.
And the fact that there was like a weird shot, and the guy was, let's be real, kind of an asshole, and definitely a misogynist. Listen, I'm not saying that genocide was the correct conclusion. I'm not
Right.
defending that.
this
but
guy
I
was
do-
mean to me. Let's cause a genocide.
But I do feel like there is a very wide open slot that I feel like, because none of us watch as Julia, there's information that
Yeah.
we are absolutely missing here.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And it seems like very obvious, but agreed. I would ask follow-up questions before I let her out of jail.
Given
Like,
the information that is available to us currently, she does not deserve to leave jail.
Yeah.
We honestly probably deserve something worse than jail, but we don't have all the information. That's par for the
Yeah.
course. I agree.
We tell her we found Reynard's son. And she's like,
is this
what?
the first we've heard that he has a son? Oh no, it's
No.
a child
Yes,
It's
yes,
from the
yes.
70s.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what the
And
last episode.
I
was.
forgot that children grow. I'm like, we're looking
We
for
live
a
different
baby.
lives.
Do you think you were born?
Children's grow.
Do you think that this was your born? Like you popped out, beer in hand, ready to go?
Would have been pretty nice, actually.
This baby fucking
Women would
slaps.
die in childbirth all of the time. So she's like, what's his son like? And I'm essentially, we're like, you will not believe it. And I travel both of them out of here, and then I'll leave there.
Wait,
Wait, they met Reynard's son?
I didn't
We
think
found him.
Who is it?
He's
We'll get
just
to
a
that.
guy.
Oh, okay.
I wonder.
I don't think it's just a guy.
I wonder if it's the professor dude in the
Oh my
Great
God.
White South. Do you think that's Reynard's son?
What the fuck? The what?
Yeah, the guy.
Break
I
Bill
know
South
exactly
in
who
the-
you're talking
in the
about.
Middle of
Yeah,
Antarctica.
the one with the
Okay.
terrible Russian accent. Or
Yeah.
at least I think it's terrible. You've told me it's terrible. I've actually never
I
heard
don't
it.
think I've ever interacted with that guy because we weren't the same class, so we
Right.
did it before the show started.
Yes.
Yeah, we're prequeling.
Anyway,
Anyway, we'll see.
my next scene, Eliot is practicing with your sword.
Yeah, I'm practicing fencing because I need to go duel this guy. And something like in the last scene, I was like, I got magic because everyone's like, don't do it. Like, he's an accomplished, this guy. I don't think we know the king's name yet. And honestly, I think I heard it like once in passing and might have wrote it down wrong. It's like Idri.
Edri, yeah.
Edri.
Yeah.
However you pronounce it. I promise I'm trying to do it right. Regardless. But they say like, he's a great warrior. And I'm like, is magic expressly forbidden? And they're like, no, you can use magic. And I was like, well, then I got it in the bag. I've killed people with magic. Like, that's fine. And then, I think as it goes, it felt like a really good idea. And as I'm practicing with the sword, I'm kind of realizing how kind of hard it is to do sword play good. And Margo
What?
is
It's impossible to learn how to sword fight in a day.
yeah. And I was like, well, there's spells. And you call out like, yeah, there are literally 2 sword fighting spells that anyone knows about, and both of them are extremely complicated and take dedicated months of practice, and you have until tomorrow. So and Eliot's like, and I'm just kind of like fencing along, and I think I'm just trying to ignore the fact that I have this sort of like rising tension in the depths of my belly that tell me that this is becoming worse and worse of an idea.
Yeah, because King Entry has fought 14 people, has dueled 14 people.
That's way better than a coin flip.
And and they're all dead.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
He's clearly got some skills.
He does. So I have a cut here after this. I don't know if anything happens after
My next thing, I'm talking to Fen, and you know, some other folks come in. But yeah, go ahead and do your thing.
So I have a conversation with the sloth.
Do you actually
Directly or through the interpreter?
Always through the interpreter.
Always through the interpreter.
But it is a private meeting.
I don't trust this interpreter.
This is culturally insensitive, and I'm sorry, sloths.
And I do want to point out that basically what they're saying is that, hey, you're the only person who of all the advisors is going to get straight to the point, is not going to feed me bullshit and tell it to me straight. So I'm asking you, what are the options? Like, what can we do to make this successful tomorrow? Because I am worried about Eliot too. Like, I just don't feel like this was a good idea. And I feel like it's getting worse the more I hear about this king that he's got to fight. And basically, I'm like, what we really need is to make sure the magic is working. Because if the magic stops working while you're fighting, it doesn't matter how good you practice the spell. Right. It won't work and you're toast. So we need to just make sure that we fix the wellspring. And once again, the sloth is like, I have an idea, but we would really prefer if you didn't do it. And I'm like, let's go. Margo's ready.
Is worm tongue.
I agree. I thought
dead
so
ass
too.
Worm tongue. It is like only mentioning something like, well, I don't think it's a good idea, but it does sound pretty like good. Like it would solve your problems, but you know,
you really shouldn't do it. It is
How do we know that the interpreter isn't the worm tongue for the worm tongue?
So
that might
Worm
also be
tongue's all the way down.
But here's the
somebody's
thing.
worm tongue.
The sloth is never going to talk to us directly. They don't, like, once again, not to break the fourth wall here, they don't got the budget for that. So like, we're just assume that the sloth and the interpreter are on the same side. Like, I think that is just going to be easier. There's a third time that this happens. So like, I know for a fact, like, well, maybe not for a fact, but I really feel that either they're the worst advisors in the world and they drip feed information after the worst thing has happened, or they're intentionally leading us down this path, like to ruin.
Yeah.
Which, given the history of other leaders of Fillory who are from Earth and all of them being kind of shit,
Sure.
Might make sense, actually.
Though there is a common phrase, don't attribute to maliciousness what you've better attributed to ignorance, or whatever that exact phrasing of it is.
Don't attribute to malice what can be adequately explained by incompetence.
Incompetence, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who knows? But it's better narrative storytelling if we get like a third act reveal that all of our advisors were trying. And honestly, put Fen in there too.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
we got some questions.
Really? I got some questions.
We got some questions.
I mean, we know that she was part of the resistance, and then we kind of like brush that under the rug. We bring it up a little bit here. But yeah, I would agree. The advisors are constantly like giving options that feel sexy and fun and flirty and like kind of dangerous, but also like they could solve all our problems.
And not up front where we could like take everything in and assess them. They give it to us when we're at our most desperate and they're like, well, here's the solution. And we like, well, we have to take it because we're in a corner. Like, again, not to forgive us our sins of bad decision making and let's say intemperance. But they are not particularly helpful at minimum. So basically, well, the thing that we can do is we could petition the fairies. They don't exist within Fillory. They exist outside of it.
Okay,
they're their own magical entities. But we really, really, really don't recommend that because they are mercurial with complex deals with steep prices. So these are traditional, scary ass fae.
Scary
like,
fairies.
do not make deals with fairies. This is, I think, the second time that I have like thought about this magic world and have been like, this should have been in the introductory handbook when you stepped onto campus, which is
FAQ.
like, do not make deals with Fae. Straight up,
Yeah.
point blank, period.
Generally a bad
Magic
idea.
isn't real for me, and I know that. Like, it just feels like a baseline thing they should understand. Margo is like, well, call them immediately, actually, right now. Like, we're going to do this, that non-negotiable. Like, and by the way, she also says in that, right, like her last sentence before the scene ends
Don't
is,
tell Eliot.
no, is like, don't keep this stuff hidden from me. Like, tell me the stuff before. Don't wait until now to tell me, like, solutions. Because Margo's irritated because she's like, we've been trying to solve this wellspring problem for months now, or maybe not months. I actually don't know how much time has passed.
It's been a long time.
That is fair, though, of like, if you're the ruler of this world, you should at least know what the options available to you are.
I agree. And that's what I'm saying. Like, why, when they drip feed us this stuff,
Yeah.
it's like, it feels intentional, maybe, or maybe they're playing their own power games, but it's not for the benefit of everybody to lead.
So you're saying you're getting information at a pretty slow pace being drip fed from a sloth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we at all think that's maybe just the speed of the author?
Well, the problem is that it's everybody. It's not just the sloth. Like, all the advisors are kind of garbage, like, to be honest.
I'm
But
saying sloths get a lot of heat.
the sloth is getting a lot of heat.
So-
The sloth is also the one that tried to, like, quarter somebody with unicorns and, like,
Yeah.
rip them apart. So the sloth is also very vindictive, like, I think.
I don't trust the sloth.
The sloth is sketch.
I don't trust any of the advisors, but I just don't generally trust brown nosers to authoritarians. But like,
Yeah.
but generally speaking, the sloth is the one. The sloth's
Yeah.
the one. It's always in the back.
Yes.
Always on a
Yes.
tree. Whispers in a dude's ear. I don't know. I don't trust
It's
him.
very
I'm being
suspicious.
reminded of an ex who was terrified of sloths. And
What a weird thing to be terrified
Oh,
of.
exactly. And my one friend's response to that statement was, "What are they going to do? Slow you to death?" And so now I'm hearing all the sloth distress. I'm like, man, they need better PR.
This sloth in particular, I think, is part of the issue. But that's my next scene is talking to Eliot again. So you must have the scene with
Yeah, so I have the scene with Faye, or Fen. Sorry,
Fen.
we were talking about Faye, with Fen. And so I'm, practicing with my sword in the room. And my heart isn't as in it as it was previously. But I'm still trying my best. And Fen comes in and she has like a sword, sort of, she's carrying it kind of gingerly. And she says that she brought something to help. And I'm like, kind of sit down. I'm like, well, what'd you bring to help? Because I honestly don't think it's going to work. Like, I can't imagine a world in which this is actually going to function. I wish I didn't do this. And she's like, I have a sword that was made by my grandfather. So she comes from a long line of knife makers. She made the knife that helped us like cut the pines to get us into the wellspring or whatever
Yeah.
it was.
Yep.
I forget the specifics of that. But her grandfather made it for a worthy high king. One was never found, and her family kept it secret all of these years, waiting for the proper person to wield it. Kind of like an Excalibur kind of thing. She
Yeah.
made it like,
Unfortunately, it's still not you, so we're putting this back in hiding.
yeah. I just wanted to show it to you. If you find somebody, maybe let them know.
It's also, again, convenient. Another drip feed,
Yes.
right? Like, why was this not?
Why
you
at
don't
the
need
third hour?
It could also be that the writers of the show were like, we should
Have a
vote
thing.
ourselves into a corner.
Yes, I will say I give the writers a little bit more credit
That's
because
fair.
they have been very cognizant of what they've been doing, at least in this season, of like when they do make decisions like that, they're like intentionally making like giving rationale for why somebody didn't do it.
It
or,
doesn't feel like
why.
stuff's coming out of nowhere, right?
Yeah,
Like,
or if it does, it feels like something you should be suspicious of in universe rather than just like assuming that the writers are they're just a little bit more intentional this season, which I appreciate. And
Yeah.
I'm giving them a lot of credit.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, thank you for the sword, but the sword isn't the problem. Like, I'm not going to learn to use a sword in one day, regardless of how nice of a sword it is. Like, a nice sword in an inept hand is going to get you killed just as fast as like a butter knife. Like, it doesn't really matter when the other person knows what they're doing. And she's like, well, the sword was made for a high king, but so was the spell. And I was like, what do you mean the spell? And she's like, there is an engraved spell that is specific to this sword, and it can only be activated by a king of Fillory. And
very specific spell.
it's a very specific
You need
spell.
to be king of Fillory with this sword.
Yes, but it will imbue that sword and the wielder of the sword with like superhuman sword fighter abilities. basically. And so
like Xander on that Halloween episode,
Yeah,
where he becomes a
basically.
military man.
kind of like that, only with a knight. Cool knight. And so what we get out of this is, Eliot's trying to figure out, why did they make a spell like this? Why not just teach the High Kings to do combat? And she's like, well, the High Kings kind of sometimes and Eliot's like, oh, because they're lazy. And like, your kings need to fight each other. And she's like, well, they're too preoccupied with making policy.
I'm
to
on her
learn to fight.
They're not lazy. Listen, if I was like in the Matrix universe and I could download Kung Fu into my brain, why would you learn Kung Fu manually?
Sure. I mean, fair enough. Especially one of the hurt ones, like learning swordplay. I'm sure you like hit your knuckles all the time with like wooden swords.
Just
Fucking
go
sucks.
0 to 100 if you can do it magically.
Yeah. And so that's what the High Kings commissioned the grandfather to do, is make a cheat code that makes it so that they can win one-on-one duels and avoid war, which isn't a bad cheat code to have.
Up, up, down, down.
Yeah. If everyone's agreed, you're going to go to war, you could do one-on-one combat instead. And the king's like, well, what if I cheated a little bit? But magic's not illegal, so it's not cheating, because contracts. Seems like this whole episode might be about contracts.
Yeah.
Regardless. Magical lawyers, everybody. We talked about it last week.
We really need them.
We
Real
really need
bad.
them. People need to stop making deals in the world of magic. But, that's the end of the scene. I'm given the sword. I'm told about this magical spell. And I now have a new MacGuffin to help me fight Idri, whatever his name is.
What are you guys up to?
Yeah, what are y'all up to?
I'm still in jail and the werewolf is peeing in the corner.
Gross. No bathroom
Culturally
facilities?
insensitive.
That's disgusting.
There was a joke about like marking his territory.
Oh.
He chose to be in the corner.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm talking to Alice, basically, is like the actual thing that's happening here. But it's obviously one of those where like I'm talking to Alice, but I'm just talking out loud to myself in this jail cell. And the werewolf's like, what the hell are you whatever. Anyways, short version of it, though, is that Alice is basically saying that, look at Friar Joseph, the priest guy from last episode who exploded a bunch of birds and shit.
Yeah, that guy
Like,
in the church.
He she's basically like, oh, not all Niffins are like violent and insane. I'm like, this guy seemed violent and insane.
He did.
We've seen him for no time at all. He almost killed me and probably would have if it wouldn't have killed Alice.
Kind of his whole vibe.
And then he killed the birds because they were cooing too loud. But anyways, Alice is trying to convince me that like she's just going to do like beautiful high level magic just like Joseph does. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to let you loose because it's bad for the world. And I'm not going to box her because that would kill her or whatever. So I guess we'll just die.
That is such a Quentin solution to this
man.
problem.
I don't think he's
Just
like
gonna lay down.
Yeah.
he doesn't say that, but he's like I can't do either of the two options available to me. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And it's
Here
like,
we go.
Yeah. You all
Yeah.
ever been so depressed to take a nap? It kind of seems like about something like that.
I mean,
Oh, man.
Quentin, but that tracks for
Yeah,
me.
that
That tracks
does.
for his
That makes
character.
sense.
Yikes.
That's really that whole scene for me. So my next scene, I clearly missed something because I'm waking up in the infirmary.
Okay. I am in a room. I don't know whose room. I haven't seen this one before. Could be Julia's, could be Katie's. Doesn't really matter. 4 walls and a ceiling. And we're watching some news coverage. Senator Gaines' rise has been described as nothing less than meteoric. And Julia's like, wait a minute. Reynard's son is John Gaines, the senator?
Oh, well.
Am I supposed to know who that is?
I don't think
It's just a senator.
fictional
He's a
senator.
sitting senator who happens to be Reynard's son.
Yeah, just a fictional senator.
Okay.
And
Probably in the like least bad sitting senators. I don't know.
oh god,
I'm like, oh yeah, some
Oh,
demon
no.
son is a senator. Sure.
Some bastard
stand
son.
on green policy.
Who knows?
You know America's fucking cooked when they're like the main villain's son is in the Senate, and everyone on the couch is like, okay, sure, next.
Nepo baby and probably inherently evil, but
That's like
could be worse.
we don't even know that.
Yeah.
Nepo
Yeah.
baby though, that does track.
Yeah,
That one tracks,
Nepo baby. And as people were essentially talking about, like we're all aware of him, like we don't know him, but apparently he's on the he's on like a path to the White House. Like he's beloved. And I say that I went to one of his rallies and I did a psychic scan, and he is a full believer of everything he says. Like this guy is like, he is preaching what he believing what he's preaching.
What is he?
Yeah, what are his
preaching?
policies?
Well, we then get to like it's like perfect smash cut. We're watching coverage and he starts to like talk to the crowd and he says, I believe that everyone is born with a flame of goodness, and if my light or yours goes out, remember, we're not alone in this world. It's like he seems like
This guy's gonna fucking die.
Oh yeah, one hundo.
If he's like, I truly believe in my heart that people are good, and then his dad is evil.
Yep. Oh, well, no, Julia's like, wow, he's the perfect demigod spokesmodel of absolute evil. And Katie's like, oh, and he's also kind of hot. And I'm like, pardon? She's like, I'm just, it's weird. I'm sorry.
I thought you guys weren't dating.
We're not.
So what's his problem?
I don't know.
You're not dating. I think someone can say it's hot. It's fine.
And I'm essentially like, hey, he has more magic coming off of him than every magician on Earth combined, and he doesn't know jack shit about magic.
So just a walking bomb.
And Julie's like, well,
that is kind of a problem.
and then Julie's like, well, he's gonna.
Oh, they're gonna go
so
tell him
They're
some
gonna go
shit.
talk to him. Wow. Do you feel like that's gonna go well?
I
Have you ever
think they
tried
do
to
more
talk to
than
a
just
senator
talk.
before? Like, oh,
Wait, not that way.
Is your next scene
A different way.
with me?
My next scene is with Julia, and then you show up.
Okay, I got a couple scenes before that.
Okay.
okay.
Y'all had a couple things. My episode like takes off.
It ramps up
Okay.
real
It
quick.
ramps up and
I'll
it
go
takes
one more.
off.
I'll go
Okay.
one more.
I have 2 scenes left.
Okay, cool. You
Okay.
chill for a second and you live camera switch and get used to that shit.
Research his policies and compare him to the sloths. So we barge into this senator's office, and he's like, whatever this is, stop, tell me what you want. And we're like, hey, magic's real. And we just do a live demo where Katie does a tut to like air blast things off his desk. I travel from one place to right next to him.
You're just like showing up little like card tricks and shit, basically.
And then Julia pulls out a fireball that she just holds in her hand.
Teleportation is pretty impressive, I would
Yeah.
I
say.
don't know, I've seen The Prestige. Could be twins.
And Julia's like, hey, magic is real, FYI. This is it. And
What would you do if somebody like came into your office just out of nowhere and then just started doing magic tricks and you're like, what the, why are you telling me this?
Well, I mean, like, the first thing I would do would be like, okay, we're gonna go into a room that I've decided on, and you're gonna repeat this performance at like, and we're gonna do some tests.
Yeah.
Like that would be the first thing before we even
not in my office.
like. I mean, I don't know if they've been in my office. I don't know what they've set up. Clearly, they're catching me off guard.
Yeah.
So, like, you know,
I need power back.
replicate. It's basically the same thing that scientists do when people say that they're psychic or they have like they can predict the future.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, let's go into this white box
Control some circumstances
and you
here.
do it, and then they can't, and then you're like, well,
Sucks to suck. And he thinks it's some kind of gag. He thinks it's publicity for some TV show. And Julia is very matter of fact, no, we're magicians being hunted by an evil god, and so are you. And he's like, listen, obviously you guys all believe in what you're saying, and I respect that. And Julia just goes, bullshit, and she cuts to the fact of just trying to kill him. And we're both trying to stop her.
Julia needs
Julia.
maybe we should have left her
So
in the
last
dungeon.
episode did a genocide.
Yeah.
This episode trying an
Political
assassination.
Yep.
I don't really understand what the assassination is for.
I think so we go into it,
Okay.
and she's like, we don't need him. We need his energy. You're born, huge energy. You die, bigger energy, especially if it's a demigod. And that's what we're after. We're after his energy.
But if you kill him, does that mean you get his energy?
Another great question. And then he's like, he's just a sack of skin holding energy. And then like, well, we need somewhere to put it. Like if we kill him, it just goes. And she's like, oh, we can put it in this. And she has like this little ball. So she's thinking of all of the, like, she's like, oh, I got this planned. And
right to dungeon,
Yep.
straight to
Yeah,
dungeon.
take it back.
and Penny's like, you planned all of this. And then he's like, all right, enough. All of you get the fuck out of my office. And he's like, I'm not dying today, and I will not die. And he starts getting angrier, and his eyes start glowing.
Oh.
And we get hit by this like wave of energy that knocks us all to the ground, and he faints.
You're trying to tell me this guy has never been angry before in his life?
I mean, this is fight or flight.
Yeah, this could be a near-death experience. If literally somebody's actively trying to assassinate you as a political figure in your office, I do feel like that is a different level of stress.
I don't know if you get threatened with murder every day by someone going, I'm going to put his energy in a ball.
Yeah, and like they just were teleporting around your office and like actively trying to kill you. Feels a little different.
Fair enough.
So we find out he's fine. He just fainted. I stop her from killing a senator. And I'm like, hey, we are not killing a U.S. senator, but we will commit a felony that's almost as stupid. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, why not?
Is this where they kidnap him?
We cut to the cottage because I've seen this building before. And we are tying up a knocked out senator and putting him in a closet.
Yep.
And then some random student's like, is that senator guy? He's like, what? You think we just kidnapped a U.S. senator and tied him up and put him in a closet? And he's like, no, Jesus, of course not. So how'd you get him past the wards? Wait, do you have an alumni key? Can I borrow it? And then Julie interrupts, says something to him, so he runs off. And
oh my God, I just realized. So the students don't have alumni keys.
No.
So are they not supposed to leave until they graduate? Like, why would you need to borrow it unless you're...
You can't... I don't think you could bring people.
Yeah.
Because this
You're
guy
allowed.
wanted an alumni key to bring this guy
Oh,
he
like
was
his
talking with.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Okay, that makes sense.
But so, I mean, I don't know if this is established directly in the text, but I assume the brownouts are affecting the wards around the school.
Probably.
Ooh, I didn't even...
That would make sense.
Definitely, for sure.
And so Kay's like, all right, what do we do when he wakes up in the closet and starts kicking the door? And I'm like, well, whatever happens, it has nothing to do with you, Julia. And she's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, you don't want to go there. Like, I am done.
I do feel like you are the most powerful person.
Yeah.
So
I will drop you in a world you don't understand.
like you could just literally teleport her anywhere and then just leave
Can you
her
do
there.
that now? I thought you couldn't teleport other
He
people.
has the button.
Yeah.
Oh, you have the button. I was
has the
going to say,
button.
because you still don't have the ability to fully teleport
Yeah,
other
I've
people.
teleported with Katie.
That's true.
Since you've gotten...
Yes, but with the button though, right?
Well, I guess with teleport anywhere. Like I could just go somewhere and just drop off Julia. I could around the world. I'm like, hey, I'm throwing.
Have you teleported with someone?
Yes.
Since your hands got messed up?
Katie.
Gotcha.
Are you sure that
No,
in this
because-
episode?
Yes.
You
No, but
took the button out of my bag.
Right.
Maybe the button is
The button
okay.
takes
I think
you.
the button.
The button
Yeah.
takes you to and from Fillory.
Right, which is where you went with her.
And
Okay.
you can teleport yourself all around the place.
Fair.
But you could take Julia, put her back in the dungeon with the button.
Yeah,
and
for
leave
sure.
her
Which is the
there.
right thing to do right now.
I just
Yeah.
want to make sure I didn't miss some major
I
thing
think you're
where
right.
you're
A good
able
catch.
to
Good
do
catch.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, you don't want to go there. And she's like, I'm pretty sure we're already there. And Katie's like, all right, back to your corners. I'll keep an eye on the senator. Julia, go away.
You know what the corner is for kids? It's prison. You know where she should be? Prison. We're all on the same page. It's just matters of degrees.
There's a werewolf there too, by the way.
Good.
Oh, sorry, I'm peeing. And I'm like, Katie, she's psychotic. And she's like, she's just being a little, and she's trying to believe what she's saying. She's being a little extreme. You know, she has her reasons, but just trust me, I know Julia. And it's very much like, we both know what she's been through, but like, we're now actively trying to kill senators who don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Penny's like, that's not Julia. Even she knows that. The only person that doesn't know that is you.
I feel like she's been through a lot and still not handling it well.
No.
Yeah.
Like,
It's only got like it's an incredibly awful thing has happened, and it has just escalated in terms of how to respond to it.
right, because I get that she's going after revenge and like that's her primary purpose here.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how like the genocide is furthering her goal there.
Yeah.
Like we probably missed something, but it could just be like she flew off the handle and did a genocide. Like,
And like outside of like killing someone, you want to assassinate a sitting senator?
Yeah.
Like that level of heat?
That's the one that I think the dryad thing. I'm like,
Again, still has some like outside.
Yeah, I'm like, did all
info.
the men that were there kill all the women, and she's like enacting revenge? Like that's what I was thinking. So I'm like, there's like, I could see a world where that's like something that happened. But if we're talking about, unless there's something about the senator that we don't know, which is possible, like this feels like. Well, the whole thing about her hunting down Reynard, the whole thing that we had at the end of the first season was that like Reynard, we're just letting this monster go around killing people indiscriminately who are innocent and don't deserve it. Yeah. And then her solution to like, I guess it's a trolley problem of like, we can just kill this one senator and we can still stop Reynard. But it also feels kind of like, aren't you doing the thing that you are really mad about is just like killing people indiscriminately to further your own
who aren't
goals?
asking for it? I have no idea.
Yeah, it feels hard to
like,
justify, but like...
It's one thing if we show up and this senator is like the embodiment of his father. Like he seems like an awful person.
Yeah.
But he's saying like, oh, this is a nice senator that people like and he believes in the good in people and he's going to be president one day. And she's like, he's got to go.
Yeah, well, because we need the end. Yeah, it's hard. It's tricky.
In danger of doubling the length of this episode of the podcast by bringing up the X-Men, like it does have it does have shades of like
I'm gonna take a nap.
Dark Phoenix of like the genocide might have been like almost goofy in nature. It's hard to tell how like what tone they're going for here, but they're almost like, you know, oh, oopsie, did a genocide, but like it's a goofy one, so it doesn't count because they're not real people.
I mean, they were like broccoli people in X-Men. Like it is kind of similar. But it was something where that like it was done kind of not that seriously and then was like retconned to be more serious.
Yeah.
And like, but I don't know, like it's hard to say with the show, like what the tone is. And the show is so realistic in that way and doesn't It grapples with the bad decisions people make with good intentions that it's hard for me to imagine that would have been on the silly side because it feels like a serious topic that they would handle that way.
But do you feel like they're treating the sloth like an actual person or are they treating it like a joke?
The sloth is not I mean, it's a joke in that, like, it's the sloth, but I do think that, like, I am actually suspicious of the sloth being, like, being
a player in the game.
Yeah, like I actually believe that.
They're not a cartoon.
Yeah.
They're not that kind of silly.
Yeah.
So then maybe they are taking it more seriously than I kind of thought.
Maybe I should have been more, because it's so goofy to me, but like the show takes it seriously. But like the characters also see the absurdity because they're from Earth. But the people from Fillory don't see it that way. Like we think it's, like I think that's actually part of the problem with the Earthlings leading Fillory is that we have our own biases and preconceptions about things because we live on a different planet, right? But like the people in Fillory like are not seeing it that way, and it's like causing us to like have these like we're making giant errors in judgment and phrasing and things like that, and like are not being helped by our advisors in any way. Like I don't know. I think that's part of it. Yeah. Anyway. So where did we leave off there?
Centered man in closet.
Yeah, he's in a closet.
Okay.
Cool.
Great.
Jump back over to Fillory?
Yeah.
Why not?
All right, cool. Sounds good. So in the next scene, Margo is coming in while Eliot is sort of still practicing swordplay. So it turns out this is like all that I'm dedicating myself and my time to, because tomorrow it's do or die. And, you know, Margo, you kind of walk in and you're wondering like what's wrong because I seem like I'm a little bit less enthusiastic than the last time that you left.
Yes, you seem more stressed, you seem more scared, and you know, that is what you say because you are. You are scared. You didn't realize that like it seemed like a great idea and now we're in a situation where like everybody's lives depend on you winning the sword fight, a thing that you don't do.
Yeah, like, and I think in Eliot's head like I was going to be able to just do magic and swordplay, and because I'm a great magician and I'm a confident person, I was going to be able to do swordplay fast and I know magic. So the two of them together were going to kind of just like meld together, and I was going to get this like jazz state where it was all going to kind of flow and I was going to vibe out and I was going to just like kind of grok it immediately. And I now realize that it's also not just me getting killed, but if I die, we basically cede all of Fillory to an invading force, and my wife's here with my kid, like is pregnant, and it's like I got all these like people who are relying on me, and it's started, the weight of it is just starting to sort of pile onto my shoulders.
Yeah, and this is when Margo decides to inspire you through memories of your high school musical production of Les Mis.
Yeah, where I played Jean Valjean, and so I start to like whimsically reminisce about like, yeah, opening night, I killed it. Like it seems to be that like Eliot had this theater background at some point, and go figure, Eliot's a person who liked pageantry and liked getting up in front and being the center of attention and, you know, being inspirational. And it's like all the things that make Eliot now make sense for him playing Jean Valjean. And I'm kind of being like sheepish about the memory. I'm like, yeah, I was great then, but I haven't done that in forever. It's like, what's your point, basically? And you're like, you know, I've been doing a lot of reading about war and how you like win wars. And I've been reading about like battle songs, like Battlefield, like, you know, get the drummers out, they beat on their drums, everyone like chants. And I was like, yeah, to keep themselves from puking out of fear. And Mark was like, no, it's not always that. That's part of it. But what it also is that it's about inspiring like fear into your enemies or making them feel unsettled. Which is like true. I mean, that's like battle chants and battle cries and
the haka.
The hakas,
Yeah.
like and these like big drum lines, and it's like the beating heart. Like they line up like drum beats with like
they're
racing human hearts. Yeah, they're inspirational. They're also terrifying. They're like otherworldly. So like, you know, she's trying to build this in as like maybe what you need is a battle cry or a battle song. And it's like, why don't you like dip back into that Les Mis sort of like past and draw on that energy of Jean Valjean? Because there's anybody who would be inspirational in the moment of like standing up against great adversity and being like the one person to stand toe to toe against like a superior force is like, that's the moment, that's the thing. And it's like, I don't know. And then Margo's like, well, maybe you just need a little help. And you get up and you tut.
Yep. And a little snap. And now we're in a musical episode, baby.
Oh, no.
Just literally like start doing the full, and Ellie's like,
Yes.
don't make me sing. And then I just like handed the like, one day more. And it's like we start kicking all into
do the
it.
whole thing. I'm not going to recite the song.
Yeah.
Sing it.
Sing all of
No.
it. I have all the lyrics here.
No, thank you.
One day more, another day, another. No, I'm not going to read all the lyrics.
Don't.
But
You
if
guys know what Les Mis sounds like.
you know
can
what
look
Les
it up.
Mis sounds like. But what they do here is kind of clever because, I mean, some aspects of the song of Les Mis
It's important. Yes.
it's important. And I think it's also important that like Margo and Eliot seem to be the two primary
Yes.
leading characters.
That is the weird part. That is
Right.
also what I picked up. It's one of the first things, like the first person that enters the room besides us when the music starts is Fen.
Yeah.
But the song is about how me and Margo are together, and like
Or
Fen,
Eliot and Margo.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry. Eliot and Margo are together, and Fen is kind of this outsider looking
Like
in
being
our
a supporting
relationship.
voice.
Yeah, it is, and there's tension, and you can tell that she is like parts of the song is referring to like how he doesn't care about her, and he's not like
Specifically the line, I'm not going to read all of the lines of Les Mis because we all know it, but where it is like, so imagine this is Eliot and Margo coming together and singing kind of like a duet while Fen is in the background. I did not live until today. How can I live when we are parted? One day more. Tomorrow you'll be worlds away, and yet with you my world has started. But that's not Eliot and Fen who's carrying my baby. That's Eliot and Margo.
Yes.
With Fen on the background.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was like supposed to be kind of like cheeky, or if that was supposed to be like, again, we're drawing this line where it feels like our primary advisors and my wife are like not here with our best intentions.
Also, there is a solo part that Fen sings, which I did not write down word for word, but it is about the fact that like she is yearning for you and you are ignoring her and you don't look at her, and like there is tension. There's like a moment where Margo and Eliot like turn to each other and they almost kiss in the song before like their chairs are moved apart, and then we have the entrance of the advisors and they bring a chorus. It's pretty fun. There's like one moment where Margo Margo's actually like in control the whole time, because there's like one part where she like skips a couple verses and she like makes a statement out of song where it's like they weren't relevant to like what we're doing today, so we're just gonna skip those verses and then we're gonna pick back
jump
up.
back into one day more, and we sort of like march down the hallway a little
really
bit more.
Fun. Like I'm like, what a great use of magic. What a cool way to do karaoke. Like incredible. Like I want this kind of magic.
And like through this, again, we're marching through the halls of the kingdom. Our advisors are getting swept up into it. It's becoming a bigger and bigger musical number. It kind of has this like conga line feel to it, where like every time we go to a new area, we're picking up more and more people. And then all of a sudden we kind of like, I don't think this is individual. I think this is all one scene, but we're cutting from place to place.
Yes.
And we end up out in the battlefield where Eliot is supposed to be going to duel.
All of us.
So it goes right into it.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's why I said we're about to ramp up to the end of this. So like all of us are in the battlefield except for Fen. She stays home.
She does.
Yeah.
She does stay back, which I would agree is important. Anyway. And then I end with Eliot gets to, I think the battlefield, the final line is, "My place is here. I fight with you one day more." And then there's like crickets.
Yeah.
And the guy and like King Idris and Prince S are staying there, and he's like, "Sorry, weren't we doing the duel today?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was like inspirational." And he's like, "Oh." And like the energy is just like cut immediately.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, it's not a musical episode. It was a musical, just sort of like side quest.
It definitely felt was like we could do a montage here, or we could do a fun montage here.
Yeah, it did feel like everyone in the cast was like, let's just like break the tension. We're talking about a lot of heavy shit.
Yeah.
Let's like do something fun here, and like also let you know that whatever this duel is going to be, you're not going to see Eliot get stabbed and murdered to death again.
It definitely did kind of make the tension ease off of that. 'Cause you're like, well, they're not going to kill him after he did a Les Mis dance number.
My only thought was like, and I kind of was holding my breath during the Les Mis dance number, because I was like, there's two ways that this goes. Either one, Eliot's not going to die, and there's going to be like some kind of like cheeky resolution to whatever this like very dire thing is, or it's going to be, I'm going to go out there all like Jean Valjean, super charismatic, one day more, and then I'm just going to get fucking stabbed. As soon as I didn't immediately get stabbed, I was like, okay, we're fine.
It's the other one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the other way. I was like, you're either like cutting the tension with a sledgehammer or you're slicing it with a knife.
Yeah.
And we're slicing it with a knife delicately.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I go down, raise my fist, crickets, and we are gonna start our fight.
And
Time to duel.
you do the spell.
I take the sword out, I whisper to it, and it's like whisper. I forget I should have wrote down the exact spell. It doesn't matter. It's like, that's the heart. I love you, God. And then and it like catches a little bit on fire. But really what it does is it like Eliot goes from like kind of awkwardly holding the sword to, after the spell, my body gets more like confident.
Yeah.
Like it seems to
take
be
on the stances of a swordsman.
Exactly. It seems to imbue me with the abilities of a sword, not just it is a better sword.
Yeah.
And so I pull out like, I'm like Dark Souls language or whatever, but like I pull out like a long sword, and then King Idris has this like bastard sword, or like claymore, like a big like two-handed fucker, and he's like shink, and then now we are squared up in the middle of the battlefield, and it seems to be going fine. For all intents and purposes. I get stabbed once in the arm.
But generally you're holding up, and we think you're going to win
I don't like that tone.
confidently until King Idris just
Fucking runs
away into the forest.
Oh.
Like,
and
I get a little parry.
Yeah.
And he's like, shink. And he goes, huh. And he just turns and just sprints into the woods.
And Margo's
Does he
like,
say anything? He's just like, oh fuck.
No, he
And,
just
like,
leaves.
he just leaves. And Margo's
Bored
like,
now.
well, okay, does that mean like we win? And Prince S, who is there to make snarky comments, is like, no, kings can do whatever they want, and this isn't over until one of them is dead. So the other play that I really like is Into the Woods, and so he's telling Eliot to go into the woods, to chase after the king.
I forgot he's from.
He went to
Ohio
boarding
or
school.
something.
Yeah.
There was actually a comment. So when I pulled up, we were singing the song, and fist up, one day more, and then crickets, and then Princess goes, I love that song. And we're like, how do you know Les Mis? And he's like, I went to boarding school. I was Javert.
Yes.
And he's like, I played Javert in my high school, like boarding school rendition of Les Mis. And we're like, oh yeah, you were in like Cincinnati? Is that where he's from?
I can't remember.
It doesn't
I
matter.
don't care.
Skyline chili motherfucker.
Yeah, Skyline chili loving pieces of shit. Yeah, so he's like, into the woods. So he knows the deal, and Eliot runs off after
Yeah.
Idris.
So we get to watch this continuation of the fight in the woods through like a pot of like water.
Oh, you're watching. Okay, I was
it's a pot
curious.
of water, and it's like a mirror, and so we're seeing.
Oh, yeah,
like
like a television.
yeah, we get little bird's eye view looking into like this cauldron to see the battle.
Probably literally a bird's eye view, huh?
Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know. Who knows? We didn't get the
magic spell
details
to
of the
look through a
spell.
bird.
Worgen.
There is. I mean, the fight that I see. So I'm just going to summarize because
Yeah.
then I'll let you pick up because something happens and I have to leave. So while you're in the woods, you guys are fighting. You manage to knock the sword out of his arm, but then we start getting a brownout.
Yeah.
The magic starts to like waver, and so it's like you seem to be in a tricky situation. And as
Oh, right, because the brownout would affect your swordsman spell.
correct, yes.
Oh no.
And that's when I get the advisor shows up, be like, "Hey, it's time for you to go. Like the fairy ambassador is here to talk to you, and he will not wait for you to come back." Like, so, and then the brownout starts happening, and I'm like, "Okay, I gotta go." So, like, I go to talk to the fairy ambassador while you're still doing this fight.
Got it.
And we have a whole scene where I do that
Okay.
while you're still fighting. The last thing I see is like kicking the sword away, and I don't know if there's anything
That's
else.
kind of so that is all one scene, and I get that as
Okay.
well. And yeah, so I like we started like trash talking, and he's like, I've killed stronger than you. Like, glad you have the spell because I love an even fight, that kind of deal. And I get a good slash at him, and we get a little back and forth. And yeah, I knock the sword out of his hands, and I'm about to killing blow. And as soon as the magic browns out, I like can't hold the sword up right. Like, it's too heavy. It's not like I'm not used to it, and I'm worried that if I lunge for him, he's gonna he like looks at a sword, I kick it, and then I run away, and then he like starts chasing me through the woods. And I'll do my other scene for later in the woods, but I feel like there's some other stuff from who's on the couch to jump into, and then I'll let you know what we're up to.
I assume this is all part of the same brownout because like people are in like a weird panic.
Oh, okay. Maybe
you have something before this.
Maybe something before it.
Okay.
So we're in the infirmary, and we walk in with the senator, who is in pain and is yelling like, "What is happening? Get him out of my head! Make it stop!" And there's the second dean. I forget her name, but she's like, "Is that Senator Gaines?" And then Dean is like, "Probably. I mean, why not?" He's just
I just love this guy. He's so used to all the dumb bullshit we've been pulling. He's like,
totally
he's
fair.
so tired of our bullshit. And Kay's like, "Do something to ward his mind from the voice." And they're like, "Whose voice?" And I'm like, "Reynard's." Like, Reynard is aware of him
he's been looking for him.
and is now like bombarding him with messages. And Katie cuts off Julie like, "Whatever you're thinking, just don't fucking do it." And she's like, "I'm not the one to worry about." And Dean's like, "Well, Reynard can't get in here, not after all of the security protocols we put in place after the beast got in. So like we paid a little bit extra. We got an upgraded security system. We didn't go for the baseline." And I'm like, "You're probably right, but we're talking about a not so benevolent God after his only child. So hopes and prayers." And the senator, who's now kind of calmed down, is like, "Hey, sorry for getting hysterical back there. I'm having a lot of trouble with all this. How did you get the voices to stop?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's a patch." And it's the same type of patch they put on my neck when I needed the voices to be quiet. And I'm like, "Hey, it's a patch. It'll help. It's just like a psychic blocker for interference. Trust me, it works." And he's like, "I'm going to be honest. I kind of hope I'm just in a mental ward right now because none of this seems real." And then we get the jump forward to there's alarms and panic.
Yeah. I don't know when I get moved to the infirmary, but sometime between then and now, I'm
And you're
in the infirmary.
handcuffed.
I'm handcuffed to like the cot or whatever, the bed. And like everybody's like evacuating
The wards have gone down.
because of the brownout.
because of the brownout, I assume.
Yeah. And we all got to get to the lab.
And so like they like unhandcuff me because like, you don't want somebody to be handcuffed to the bed and then killed or whatever. And Julia takes me and she's like, "Oh, I have a new weapon to kill Renard." Turns out I'm the new weapon to kill Renard. So she knows about the Alice thing.
Okay.
And she's like basically saying that I have a nuclear bomb inside of me.
Cool.
And she talked to Alice
While you were out.
while I was out. So like obviously Alice gets an hour and a half a day now, I guess.
Do you still give her that time? I thought we agreed that wasn't a good
that
idea.
is on ongoing concern.
Okay.
Didn't they they made that signed contract? I don't even know if he has a way to get out of
Yeah,
it.
I don't think I do. Even though we've like verbally amended it several times, but whatever. And she's like, "Oh, tell Alice that if she kills Renard, then like you'll let her free." And I'm like, "No." And then there's like a magical like barrier, and she like shoves me through it. And Renard comes around the corner.
Oh, let me, because
Yeah, you show up here.
simultaneously, right before that, I'm outside of the lab where we're like hurting everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, everyone get in, not a pop quiz, hurry, hurry, hurry. And I'm like, hey, Dean, how long could the emergency generator keep the lab warded? And he's like, hopefully long enough until we think of something. And we all get inside, and then we have the moment of like, wait, where's Quentin and Julia? And that's when we kind of show up.
Yeah. So yeah, Renard just kind of like walks up behind us. She shoves me to the ground and is like, "Hey, now you're gonna die, so you better let Alice out so she can kill Renard." Is basically her plan here.
With friends like these.
Yeah, basically, Renard kind of like laughs, and he doesn't like fully know the whole, whatever. But he says that like I'm not as interesting as Julia, even with like that, what's going on inside of me. So he like knows that there's like a Niffin or something because he's very powerful. I'm still refusing to let Alice out though, because that seems like a horrible idea. And Penny then shows up.
Yeah, we get frozen in time though, but
Yes.
we're still aware of everything going on.
So Penny shows up and comes through that like magical barrier.
Yep,
Okay.
trying to
I think
get to
you
you.
teleport through, I guess.
I think I just run. Like I'm trying to get to you.
No, because like Katie stays outside of it.
Yeah.
So I think that you might. There's like a weird thing where you like blink. I don't know.
There's a weird cut or
Yeah.
jump here.
Anyways,
You get through the barrier.
I get to the barrier and
the
I'm
two of
locked
us
in
are
place.
there. He does the time stop spell where like we can still move our eyes that the beast did.
Yeah, he mentions like I learned this trick from your six-fingered friend.
Right. So we're like frozen in time and still like conscious of what's happening here. This is when Reynard basically lets everybody know that he knows Julia kidnapped the senator, because like even though the security footage on the news is grainy or whatever, he knew it was her. Senator shows up here. Mm-hmm. He comes through the barrier and he's like, "If I am what I say, then don't hurt these people." And Renard's like, "Hurt them? Like I froze them to protect themselves, so they
From
wouldn't-"
themselves.
Yeah, it's like so they wouldn't hurt anybody or you. Like I'm the good guy here or whatever. And then like they like touch, and then the two of them teleport away.
Yeah. And that's my episode.
I have one more scene after this, but
Okay. We'll jump in. We got more stuff to do. Sorry, I didn't realize how close you all were to the end. So I ran away from the king guy, and this isn't really important, but he's got like this like a white fur coat, like a ankle length white fur coat. He ends up taking it off at some point, but I don't know why I mentioned that. One, just because it's like he keeps on like hiding from me, even though he's like sticks out like a sore fucking thumb and like
He's,
a
like,
green
all
forest.
white in a green
yeah,
forest,
he's like
yeah.
this little big white furry creature. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I like run into a clearing and there's this big tree, and I like look around frantic, and then you get a little bit of a cut, and it's he comes in around the corner into the exact same location looking for me, and it's like and kind of like looking around, where'd he go, like sees my tracks, and then looks up and notices that Eliot basically climbed up and is hiding in the tree, and he's like, "Hey, you can't stay up there forever, man." And I looked down, I was like, "Well, I mean, that's fine, but I'm just gonna hang out up here for a little while if it's okay with you.
It's
And
a very casual fight to the death.
It is.
So yeah, it's what I'm saying. It really is pretty casual. After the musical number, it's not supposed to be extremely serious. You get the sense that Eliot is waiting for the brownout to end so that I can like reestablish my sword fighting dominance and get back in there.
My time.
Exactly. And he's like, I don't know if he knows that King Idri knows. Sorry if it's wrong. King Idri knows that like I'm waiting for the brownout to end or not, but he just starts like hacking at the tree with his claymore, and not in like, you know, he's not taking it down in one fell swoop. He's just sort of like smacking into it, but it's kind of freaking Eliot out because you hear like whack, whack, and Eliot's kind of like cowering up on top of a tree, and. You know, and Eliot kind of starts to try and reason with him and talk with him while he's like slamming at the tree. And I'm like, hey, you know, if another brownout happens, it does actually impact both of our kingdoms. And he's like, you know, like in King Idri, apparently, if the people of Loria, where he's from, he's like, yeah, it's like, honestly, the people of Loria have lived so long without anything, like they seem to be extremely poor. They're very like hand to mouth. They're very like they live off the land. He's like, I don't even know if they would notice. Like for Fillory, magic is like, you know, it's pomp and it's circumstance and it's cozy, and you'll have like an easy life because the wellspring is in your kingdom and you can draw directly from the source. They're like, they get the trickle down river effects, and he's like, it doesn't matter as much to my people. We want it because it's power, it's money, it's like food, it's all these things to you. So we want to have it, but it going away hurts you more than it hurts us. Which I think is like a pretty important point about like the invading force. They do have like an advantage there with it being unstable, where our kingdom doesn't have that advantage.
Like getting rid of the magic in general could be an equalizing force between their kingdoms.
Yeah, it would hurt both, but it would hurt one significantly more, who relies on it significantly more. Kind of like if we had like, you know, a major attack that affected like electronics, like if there was like a major solar flare and it blew all electronics on Earth, the United States would be significantly worse off than a lot of other places who would have otherwise been significantly lower on the totem pole of geopolitical power, kind of deal. So, you know, Idri is sort of lamenting this like fact as we're talking about it. Is like, he's like, you know what, honestly, I think at the end of the day that my people, one of their greatest strengths is that they just love to be dissatisfied with things. So it's like that can be a weakness, but I think in this situation, whenever things aren't working and they're mad at you, that's a power. And Elliot's like, people just love being dissatisfied. Tell me about it. Preach. And he like kind of looks up and gives a little kingly like knowing thing, like, yeah, ruling people fucking sucks. Like they always have something to complain about. Like we're kind of like getting a little bit on the same page. You know, Elliot's charismatic. He's charismatic. We're kind of like jabbing a little bit, even though we still want to kill each other. And it's like, you know, if you kill me, at least you're gonna have decades of trying to keep the kingdom together. At least you'll have the problem of decades of trying to keep the kingdom together through like just periods of intense sexual frustration. And kind of like Idri takes a step back. He's like, intense sexual frustration. Like you have a wife, right? And he's like, exactly. And look, and I'm going to be a father. If that changes your mind about killing me and everything, I'm going to be a dad. And he's like, listen, dude, I don't have a choice. One of us has to die, and I'm not the one up a tree. So at least you don't have to worry about being an old man. So, I mean, if we're looking about like, you know, commiserating here, like I'm getting old, you're going to die. You know, you got a kid. I don't want to die because it's fine. They're like, we're kind of like, you know, generally he's like keeps slamming on the tree every once in a while. Once he realizes we're being a little too like buddy, so he's trying to cutting it down. And this is when the conversation takes a different turn. And I'm going to read a little bit more verbatim because I think it's important. He says, Eliot says to Idri, I would age like a fine wine, and let's be honest, you're a total dilf. And Idri doesn't know. He's like, she's like, should I be offended? Like, he doesn't know what dilf means. And Eliot's like, let's just say it's too bad that I got a wife. And and Idri kind of like smiled.
Oh boy.
Eliot kind of Idri kind of like smiles. He's like, listen, I get it, man. Seriously, I do. If the love for my late wife is the only thing that kept me from selecting a husband too. So it's a shame I have to kill you because I actually find you kind of attractive.
Machi.
And Eliot's like, God damn it. And then he continues trying to chop down the tree a little bit more. And at some point I notice, like, while he's chopping at the tree, that the plant life starts to kind of glow around us a little bit. And I realize the brownout's kind of ended. I whisper into my sword, jump down, land all swordsman-like, sort of point my blade at him, magic's back. And then Idri kind of looks at me. So what happened?
Okay, so, oh God, I've got running out of time and I've got a lot to talk about. Okay, so quick. I am back at the castle and I am talking to the ambassador to the fairies, who is a human, by the way. So
interesting.
It's always a human that's an ambassador that does the deal. And basically they want me to cut. I'm like, so when am I going to meet them? And they're like, after you sign the deal with me. And she's like, no way. I want to know who I'm signing a deal with. And he's like, that's not how fairies work. Just FYI. And Margo's like, okay, what is the deal? Like, you can fix the wellspring? And he's like, yes. And she's like, and in return is they would like a child of the kingdom. And Margo's like, what, are you gonna eat him? And he says no, they would be raised as a fairy, which is in, like, you know, your children being replaced like changelings. That is like
canon.
Like,
And
I don't know if canon is really exactly how I would phrase that, but mythology, yes.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to ever guess which child this is, right?
Well, I follow up with like, well, I guess I could just get knocked up, and the guy's like, no. We want the one that's already cooking, basically. He doesn't say it like that, but I do. And Margo leans forward and says, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And then he gets like really mad and like walks away to like fill up a thing. And she's like, and then the advisor comes up, the sloth man advisor, I think. I can't keep them straight. I could be wrong. Could be the other guy. But he's like, well, basically he goes, Margo, you fucked it up. Like, you offended him because you questioned him. And now the deal you can either accept the deal that you guys talked about, there's no more negotiation, or the deal just doesn't.
These are horrible advisors if they're like, oh, there's major etiquette you need to be aware of going into this.
This is
and
3.
They're just like, oops, we probably should have told you that.
This is 3. That is what I'm saying. You let me go
Something's
into the
happened.
situation and then gave me no, like, because she says you got to be fucking kidding me. Not like that's not even really questioning him, right? Like, that's like an exclamation,
right?
And like was intentionally, like, it's clearly miscommunication that was like not. Anyway, so Margo has like a scene where I go to talk to Fen, and I say, okay, I think I have a way to save Eliot, but in order to do this, you have to promise me that you're going to do everything that I ask you to do without question. And I'm like, are you willing to do that?
Oh, that's burying the lead. That's a buried lead.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the dictionary definition. Flip to B for buried lead.
Yes.
Merriam-Webster ass. Jesus
like,
Christ.
because like Margo's like, he might die, he might already be dead. We actually don't know. What are you willing to do this? And then Fen, of course, agrees. She's like, of course, yeah, save him. Like, definitely.
Of course, I'm not going to ever ask any questions about like what the thing is that you clearly are hinting at. But
is Margo a fairy? Because that's some Fae trickery.
She walks away.
Fae, recognize Fae.
The Fae ambassador comes up and says, "You're very skillful. You are most skillful." And she turns to him and she says, "I'm a manipulative cunt. Fix the wellspring now." And she then leaves and turns her back on the Fae ambassador. My next scene is you coming in.
Eliot comes back.
Since the wellspring was fixed. And one of the fun things that you come back and you're like, success. We hug first, even though Faye comes up to hug.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I cut her off.
Awkward. Yeah, you cut me. I cut her off a little bit. I give a little hug, a little peck, and then I greet Fen, and I was like, I'm safe. And Fen's like, I can't believe you actually won. I was like, is it that surprising that I actually won? Why does everyone seem so surprised that I actually won the fight?
Yeah. And in comes King Edry behind you, actually. And I'm like, what is going on? Can we talk? Because this is weird.
Yep.
And you think that I'm talking to you because I slept with his son and it might be weird and like it might be ruining this like weird polyamorous family, which is what we call it, like in the scene. But I'm like, no, I'm just completely off put by like why I thought you had to like fight to the death and things like that.
Turns out the rules that we were living under was that the two kings, mano a mano, and you got to fight to the death. One of them's got to die. But at the end of the day, we are kings, so fuck it.
You can change the rules.
We can change the rules. And you know what another rule is one, marriages are sacred in this world.
Jesus.
As we know.
Yep.
And two, and Eliot like announces to the entire room, he's like, and I am going to flay the person who neglected to mention this to me, but every ruler is allowed to both take a wife and a husband. And Fen like looks kind of like sheepish, like she knew that.
Yes, she did.
And she knows that
so
Eliot
is
wanted
a
that.
rule of
It is
chivalry?
a
You can
They
do both.
hid it on purpose from him, and he's.
and I'm mad about it.
We're very clearly being manipulated by our advisors.
Yeah.
Like they're taking advantage.
Okay.
Everybody that we interact with
Is taking advantage of us.
advantage of the fact that we don't
it
know
seemed
what's
like there were
going
like
on.
little like drip feeds of like people taking advantage of you, and I'm like, why are you so convinced that this is true? And now I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And so luckily, before the final blow was swung, King Edry decided to let me know about this rule, because we were talking about husbands and wives, and I think he's kind of hot. He thinks I'm kind of hot. We're both kings. We're gonna get married.
And then you drop that, and of course, as part of presumably the dowry,
Yeah.
we're doing a 50-50 well split with Laura.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
good for them.
So
Which Margo's like, what?
Right. They get 50%. We get 50%.
So I just want to point out once and again a deal that was struck without my knowing
we don't
about
need
it.
to talk about deals being struck without.
You would
You
never.
gave away my son or
You would
daughter.
never.
So.
Just saying, everybody here today made decisions without consulting other people.
Yeah, I made a decision for love that saved lives. You gave away a child.
I asked your wife, kind of.
Kind of.
Also, want to point out that I maybe saved the lives of everybody at the school because it was affecting you guys too, and there were no wards.
Am
so-
I the most responsible person on this couch?
It's actually, I think it's possible.
Speaking of deals without consulting people, I have another scene.
Yep.
Oh.
That's the end of our episodes. Or at least my episode. You look longingly out a window at the end of that scene, and I was wondering in my notes what you did.
I don't like the look on your face right now, Staj.
Baby napping?
So when you asked the question, so how'd you fix the wellspring?
Yeah.
I like turn because I see something move at on the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
And there are 3 fairies there who I want to say they nailed it. They look human-ish, but ethereal and creepy as hell and scary.
Okay.
And they like appear and they're like staring at me and they do like a weird head movement thing. And Margo's just staring at them and she looks back at you guys and then looks back at them and they're gone.
Okay.
And so they can enter and leave at will. Wards do not matter. They live outside of the universe.
magical
This
universe.
magical universe.
Mm-hmm.
They're other way. Don't make deals with the Fae, man. Like,
Well, it's your final episode.
also, you would never make a deal with those people if you actually saw them, which is why they have a human ambassador.
Oh, they're
because the
creepy?
second that you make eye contact, you're
You
like,
could tell.
oh, they're freaks.
Yeah,
like, this is not good.
Not that kind of freak.
No, not that kind of
well,
freak.
hopefully
The scary
they're-
kind of freak.
Hopefully they raise children good.
Definitely not.
All right, thanks for that, Margo. Appreciate your time. Can't believe I made you the godmother.
You in the episode making right choices, right?
Oh yeah, I'm in the middle of a field with a bunch of like big overhead lights pointing at it. I'm sitting in front of like a 2006 Ford Taurus or some shit, crying.
What?
I don't know how I got
What?
here. I don't know
Some
where I
most
am.
Midwest emo
I
fucking
know.
thing.
And I'm
This is
just
the Arby's commercial?
I'm basically saying like, I'm so sorry, I can't do this anymore. And I take something out and I guarantee you that I should know what this is. I have no idea what this is. It looks like it's the shape of like a Zelda rupee, but
Okay.
it's made out of wood and it has some little like runes etched into it.
Okay.
If anybody knows that I should know this, please tell me. But I smash it with a rock.
Smash it. Didn't Alice have a small box?
Maybe.
Wasn't that a thing?
I don't know.
I don't
man.
remember. Anyway, you smash it with a rock.
And then I stand up and I say, Alice, I hope you meant it. I hope you just go and do beautiful magic. And then I speak the words to release my cacodemon thing on my back, which is Quentin says go free, and big puff of smoke. And Alice comes out and she's all like blue and, weird looking. Niffany. And she like gives like a smirk and like half of a giggle and then looks up and flames on with blue flames and rockets off into the night sky.
Obviously to do evil.
What's the worst that could happen?
What's the point now? What was the point of doing this now after the guy already got the senator? Why do this now?
Because I'm going to die?
Yeah.
Oh.
We didn't solve that problem.
Yeah,
I forgot
that
about
problem
that.
still is out there.
I'm sorry. I thought you were just laying down and succumbing. I really thought that's where we were going.
I thought we were going to get there and be like an empty fifth of Wild Turkey. You're going to be listening to like some sad boy music.
Would have been a better choice.
Probably.
Maybe that's what the scene is. That you thought you were going to die and you just like picked a spot to die and then
like a cat. You just sort of like found yourself a little place to lay down.
I'm convinced I'm the only person who should be a king of a foreign land.
Honestly, maybe.
Eliot seems to be doing fine. Like I married to stop a war and got a hot dude out of it. That doesn't seem bad.
Yeah, but
like I nailed it.
I don't think you would have been able to cut that deal if the magic hadn't come back.
Maybe not.
Definitely not.
I don't know. We were already making bedroom eyes at each other.
I know, but trees were getting chopped.
That's fair. That was a big tree. Swords aren't good tree chopping material. I don't know. Maybe not. We can't predict the future. We can't rewrite the past. So what are you gonna do? End of the episode. Any final thoughts before
that was crazy.
Yeah,
that is just a weird one.
It was a weird
PSA. Don't deal with Fae.
Oh yeah,
Native
that
Fae.
seems
Or
like
sloths.
a thing not to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or also like maybe like get a general understanding of the political landscape before you lead a country.
You need a better consigliere.
You need some education.
Consigliere.
I really hate how, I mean, it makes sense, but it's like, wow, we really didn't prep to rule. We have no idea what it's like to rule a place.
But the whole place is set up to be like that because it's like, outsiders have to rule this place.
Right, I understand
so it's structural.
that. But like we are choosing to just rule as our whims and biases
we're not
lead
doing
us.
a good job.
We did not integrate with the people and understand where they're coming from and understand like cultural differences and like we're not doing that work either. Like, which is kind of weird for Eliot considering you can't leave. But I guess you're a king, so you're insulated. Like you don't get that.
And I will say that I do think that's a fair criticism, a little bit more from like towards like Margo and Eliot, who are in not Eliot, Quentin, who like hasn't been involved in stuff, but like we became rulers of this place as a matter of necessity to help fight the beast. We didn't want to be rulers.
That's
it was
true.
like the only solution that would allow us to potentially stop
what's going on.
I guess we did save Fillory by doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
Then Eliot did have a little, and I wish that they stuck with that arc, but he did have the arc of like giving a shit about the people and like trying to help them integrate farming and try to like be a good ruler. And like I do think they've done a little bit of work with that with Eliot of trying to integrate and try and figure out what people like. He's talking to rebel factions to try and figure out what their opinions are, why they hate him, like. And I think the world the world of his rule is crumbling around him, not because of Eliot's failings as a ruler. I think that the advisors are manipulating him. I think my wife is manipulating me. I think that Margo has made some aggressive decisions that maybe I wouldn't necessarily agree with, but it is, it's a weird king and queen, but there's like 4 of them kind of deal. But I don't think that Eliot has done anything that has been self-serving above serving the kingdom. Since he's become king. I can't think of something that's been that way.
Yeah, I think that's true. I do think that Eliot is trying. I think there's good intentions everywhere.
Yeah.
But I also don't think that you're studying like the political nuances of the country you're
probably
leading
not.
either.
Yeah.
Like you are just not, that's not what your personality is. And I think that unfortunately is a fault when you're leading a country that
I think I rely on my advisors, and I don't think Eliot sees them as manipulative, but we do. But Eliot is very, like, almost every scene I'm in, I am actively listening to a room full of people and trying to take their opinions into account, and like I'm usually acting on the opinions.
We're not savvy enough for this. Is basically what it boils down to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We're still like, you know, we want to be at Ibiza, like we want to be party animals in like college in a small empire of dirt. Yeah, like that's where we live, and that's where we feel comfortable. And unfortunately, this is not that. Yeah. So, anyway,
well, see you this Saturday.
Yeah,
and Sunday. Fun day.
What's the dates for that? What are the dates of Saturday and Sunday? Look at my calendar really fast. That is going to be the my phone's doing something.
November 15th and 16th.
15th and 16th of November. So 9 a.m. Central Time on the 15th to
9 p.m.
9 p.m. on the 16th.
Oh boy. All right, we'll see you there. I'm your host, Mike, signing off. Left me as always.
It's Sasha.
In front of me as always.
It's Colin.
And right here, right now. It's
Brian.
We'll see you next time.
Bye forever.
For more information, go to popculturerollcall.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Please subscribe, rate, and review. Our new theme provided by Stephen Rosbach. Find him at stephenrosbach.com for more of his work. Join us next week for another episode of Pop Culture Roll Call.